Hi, this is the Oak Trader Report for the 6th of October. It's coming up to just past 11 p.m. Hong Kong time. Just covering some stocks in the sectors of real estate and the medical sector, the biomedical division of that sector. And it's mostly long-term charts as well, 5-year weeklies and monthlies, 25 years where available. First company, St. Joe Company, ticker symbol JOE. You can see here where my mouse, huge downtrend. It's beginning to be broken, this downtrend. This is going on the watch list. It's far too early to try and take advantage of this particular stock at the moment. And I would say that it could spend at least another year or two down in this low range, building up power for a further move up. Perhaps sometime in the next 6 months to a year, but more than likely it's going to drag along the bottom for quite a long time. We're just waiting for the market to quieten down and to flatten out really from here. So this one's going onto the watch list, ticker symbol JOE. The next company, Pico Holdings, ticker symbol PICO. This is a monthly chart here. You can see again this is too early in terms of accumulation, but it is breaking long-term downtrends which are important. It's building up a bit of support here with these sharp bottoms that have occurred in the market, these sharp pivotal points. And where my mouse is here, we're going to use this as a pivotal point. So I'm not buying into this market at all, and I'm using this as a guide. If it drops below this, it's probably going to sink down to the lows of 2003. So we just have to wait and see. This one's going onto the watch list. It seems to be forming some sort of head and shoulders here. But one thing I don't like is this shoulder part here is lower than the left shoulder. Once it breaks out of this left shoulder and moves above 25, I'd be more confident in this market, but for the time being it's a hold and it's going onto the watch list. Ticker symbol AVHI. Again, massive downtrend here. Hit $5, bounced up. It still needs to consolidate and accumulate here. So this could take another year or two to build up the consolidated power for an extended move upwards. So this is going onto the watch list as well. The biomedical sector that we're moving on to in a minute is far more volatile than the real estate development sector. But again, here you can see how volatile this market is, and it seems to be building a base here. So it's going onto the watch list, one to watch for the future. But again, it could take another year or two to take off. Ticker symbol CNR, China. It's been beaten up recently, a huge downtrend. It never really recovered from the Great Recession of 2007, and it's following really the pattern of the Shanghai market. It hasn't taken off with the American market, and it's following the pattern of Shanghai, and you can see it's consolidating nicely. It's only a $1 parameter on the monthly chart here, and you can see the gaps here, how quiet the market is becoming, and this is a great signal, and this is one to watch. I've bought a little bit of this market, and I'm looking to buy more in the next couple of months if it does indeed break out of this short-term consolidation base area here, which is around the $1.50 level. For now it's on the watch list, very light buying going on. Low volume here, which is another good sign. Broken down trends, just waiting for this trend here really, this sideways trends to break out for the actual confirming signal that the uptrend has begun. I can see this market taking off and maybe moving up to 3 or 4 quite easily once the Shanghai market starts picking up. I mean, that may take another 6 months or a year, so be prepared to hold on to this stock and be patient. Ticker symbol OBAS, moving on to the biomedical sector. Great base action here, even though it's $20 parameters on the chart. We do see some very tight action here in the price, and this is something we'd look for it to move up to at least 20, and if it did break the $20 range at some point in the next year, we could see this move up to 40 quite easily. But the base is shaping up very, very nicely, and it's been in a base action since 2009. Ticker symbol CHLN. You can see here the sharp bottoms at 1. You've got 1 here, pivotal point, another one, another one, another one, a quadruple bottom at $1, and it's broken out on the upside. I don't like these volatile spikes going upwards. Waiting for the market to flatten out a little bit, but it has broken out of where my mouse is here, this $2 mark, and it's moved up, so I wouldn't be surprised to see it maybe move back down to 2 and consolidate. But again, with these bases, it could come back down to 150 again and drag out, because it hasn't had an exceptionally long base. When it's had an exceptionally long base, I have more confidence in it when it breaks out. But with these particular markets, you do have to be careful for a turnaround and for a long dragged out bottom, and it tries to sort of convince and fool you to go long the market at certain points. So again, just be quite wary here, but it does look like it's begun an uptrend. Ticker symbol XIN. Again, you can see the bottoms here at 2, 1 here, 1 there, so let's call it a double bottom. Really nice base action where it's very tight, the market, and a curve action as well that we've talked about before. The market's been curving around really nicely, and it looks like it's building a consolidation here for a further move upwards. Ticker symbol OXBT in the biomedical sector. The market's become very tight here where my mouse is. A large volume without any real further moves down, so it looks like this huge downtrend is finally coming to an end. And if you draw a long line, you'll see about here, that's where the downtrend began to quieten down and really consolidate. You can see the difference in price action where my mouse is here compared to, say, back in 2011 where we had the wilder swings. Where you see these wilder swings, you can't really trust the base action, but when the base action looks like this where my mouse is, this signals very good accumulation and support in action via the professional investors. So this is looking very good for a future rise upwards. Ticker symbol OXBT, just on the daily chart here, you can see the market curving around, and whenever I see this formation on a daily chart, it's always a good signal. So it looks like it's going to move up. It could form another, say, shoulder here between the $3 and $4 channel range. So that's what I would be looking for the next move up to around $3 to $4, and then perhaps consolidate and garner further power for a move upwards. Ticker symbol PBMD. Not looking particularly good when it's broken out of the $2 with this downward movement here where my mouse is. Heavy volume, but again, these two action bars here, price action bars, signify that the market's being bought up. It's not in as heavy a downtrend as it was. Again, I wouldn't be buying this just yet. See where my mouse is here, join it up to there, and I would say once it breaks where my mouse is, it looks around the 180 level. That would be the signal perhaps that it's forming a head and shoulders base, and it would consolidate further from here, and then it would be worth looking at. But this is definitely going on the watch list, and it's one for the future. Ticker symbol CXM. Again, you've got nice base action here on the 5 weekly chart. Not a tremendous amount of time, but it's a very decent amount of time. Downtrend here being broken with this spike upwards. Draw another line, the downtrend being broken about here, and the market becoming extremely tight with low volume. And this is a good signal when you can see the nice curve action that the market's undergoing at the moment, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the market move up to around the $4 to $5 level in the next 6 months to a year. Here it is on the monthly. Ticker again is CXM. Very tight ranges here and here as well, especially as it's on a monthly chart. It looks much better on a monthly when the market is tight. And again, I would suspect that $5 is quite an easy target for this stock to hit sometime in the next 6 months to a year. The ticker symbol that we covered earlier that got mixed up with the real estate development stocks, OXGN. This is the monthly chart. Again, great base action here. An almighty downtrend from 1997 onwards, and it finally looks to have been completed around roughly here in terms of the price action, but just about here the market's curving around, and it's becoming extremely tight with quite tight volume as well, even though these charts have got huge parameters because of where the stock once was in the past. I would say that this market has a very good chance in the near future. Beautiful curve action and good base, is developing in the last couple of years. Ticker symbol ENZN, 6-month chart here. You've got nice base action, very tight 20-cent range parameters on this chart, and it looks to be shaping up quite nicely. But again, I've seen this quite a few times. I wouldn't trust this just yet, and we could see it drop down to another level. And this is it on the monthly, and as you can see here, it's still in that downtrend on the monthly. And you draw a line, and I would say once it breaks around the $3 level on the monthly chart and it comes back up above that, that's the signal that the bull market probably will begin in this stock, and a long-term uptrend will carry on. But at this present moment, when it breaks below, if you look where my mouse is, the pivotal point back in 2008, that's quite a dangerous signal for the market, and it's something that's worth heeding, and just perhaps lightening up any positions if you did have any and you weren't patient enough to hold for a decent formation to develop in the curve action. But here we may see the curve action beginning around these low levels, but it's definitely been beaten up quite nicely, this stock, and it's one to watch for the next 6 months. Ticker symbol OCRX, this is the yearly chart from the stock previously. You can see here this is beautiful accumulation. I like to see this on a yearly chart, even though the parameters are quite large for this particular stock. I'm not sure if this is a weekly or a yearly chart. I think it's a weekly chart. You can see the huge drop down in price here, and someone from here, December, has been supporting the market. You have to ask yourself a question: who has been supporting the market and why hasn't it dropped down further? And I suspect if you look from June onwards, the really light volume now, that the professionals have this market under control. We can see here the ticker symbol here. I think this is the monthly chart. You can see the tightness of the range here with the spike up, and then it becomes tight again. I wouldn't be surprised to see this stock at around the $15 to $18 level in the next year. And again, I mentioned on the previous chart about the low volume from really June, July onwards, which is a great sign. The market's becoming very boring and not too many people are trading it at the moment. Ticker symbol AVEO, and again you've got the downtrend being broken. It potentially could break down further from here. I'd like to see a little bit more of a curve action. This part here is broken out of the curve action. It's a very gradual downtrend. Once it breaks that gradual downtrend, that will be the signal to go long the market and for the uptrend to begin. So it's just a question of being patient now and seeing how this move develops. And it's the same ticker symbol AVEO here. It's far too early on this particular chart, but you can see how tight the range is just here where my mouse is. And when you do have a tight range like that, we often see springs up in price, sometimes of 200 or 300%. Although that can be a little bit unusual, we could see this market easily move up to 7 or 8 if it indeed is to consolidate. But it's worth just being patient here, just to see how this develops for the future. Ticker symbol VICL, great looking monthly chart here. The base really began back in 2003 and it's been going sideways. Absolutely nothing's happening. And if you look where my mouse is here, you've got the gradual downtrend. Once it breaks that at around the $4.80 level, that will be the signal to go long this stock. And I believe for the upward trend to carry on for at least a year or two, moving up to around the $10 to $15 level. Ticker symbol AGEN, very tight range here and here. Again, you have to be wary of the parameters on the chart. What looks to be tight may not be as tight as you think it is. So you have to look at weeklies and dailies to confirm how tight the range is on the chart. But this is looking extremely good for a further rise sometime in the next 6 months to a year. Okay, ticker symbol XNPT, double bottom here and here, and if you draw a line from here, this is broken the downtrend, and these two bars here look to signal that the market has broken out somewhat. But until the market breaks the trend that I'm drawing here around the $12 level, I wouldn't be confident that this trend was going to continue. It could continue mucking around in this lower range perhaps for another 6 months or a year, but this does look to be a good stock and it's forming a very good base, and I'd be buying lightly into this market. Ticker symbol ROSG. Great base action really from 2012 onwards, so we're looking at almost 2 years of accumulation by professional investors. Huge downtrend. Ignore this huge spike here. Let's just draw a line along here, an imaginary line, and here's where it breaks the downtrend, just about here, and you can see the market going sideways, and it's just pure common sense. Who's supporting the market? Why isn't it going down further? Because someone's supporting and buying the market. And here it is on the monthly. You can see the curve action as well coming around. Extremely tight action that's developed, and I'd be looking for this market at some point in the near future to take off. Ticker symbol HSKA. Again, another long-term base. Downtrend broken here, just like the downtrend was broken here. But when the downtrend was broken here, you can see that the volatility in price action is no way as tight as it is here where my mouse is, and this is what we're looking for, very tight price action. So if you draw a line along here, draw it down around the $8 to $9 level. Once it breaks out of there on the upside, that will be the confirmation that the market has switched technically and the uptrend will begin. So it's just a question of being patient now and holding on. This looks to be a very good stock for the future, and I could easily see this moving above the $20 level. Okay, Oak Trader Report Part 2 will be uploading in the next 2 or 3 hours, covering the rest of the biomedical stock sector. Okay, over and out, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye for now.